Oh wow, it's happening.
It is happening.
Oh.
Usually don't start with food on the table.
No, exactly.
It's at the end,
It's
but
gonna
you
be
know
an
what?
interesting one.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's do
So
it.
be it. There's
Mix it
food on
up.
the table. Why not? Let's enjoy.
Yeah. May as well eat it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Amanda, it's a great pleasure to have you here with us.
I'm so happy to be here.
So we usually like to start the conversation with two of the hardest questions we'll ask today.
Oh, I'm not sure if I'm ready.
Yeah, already we start hard.
We do. The two questions are, who are you and what do you do for a living?
Hard-hitting journalism right there. Who am I? My name is Amanda and I work at EVA. It is a online furniture and homewares company. We started off as a mattress in a box company. That would have been about 5 years ago now.
Right.
And then since then, we've expanded through the rest of the home.
Nice.
So,
Did you start before or after the trip you were telling us about just then?
that was just before. Oh, just before. I went to Cuba. I think it was 2018,
Yeah, right.
and even
Oh,
started
wow.
2017.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the lack of good mattresses in South America. Right? Like the idea.
No.
That didn't spark the idea.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other perks in Latin America, but
Yeah.
Not a comfy bed. Look, we come from there, so we totally get it. You can speak freely. That's all.
What was talking about that? I was reading a little bit about you, and you have a very interesting background. Tell us a little bit about that, and I guess like how that has led you to where you are today.
Yeah, so my background, I was a clinical neuropsychologist.
Yes. So I heard.
My friends still don't know what that is, and I don't think my family does either.
So let me try it.
Yeah.
It's the study of the neurons in the human brain.
Kind of close.
Okay.
close.
Ooh, almost.
It's related to the brain, so
Yes.
you're right there, but it's also about the relationship between the brain and behavior.
Okay.
So a lot of the work that I did was around cognitive testing, and so
Right.
the interpretation of those cognitive tests to see whether or not can this person go back to work, can this person make decisions.
Right.
And a lot of my work was mostly in dementia, so Alzheimer's and aging and things like
Ooh,
that.
that's harsh.
Oh
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
it was a lot of work within sort of the medical legal field as well. So thinking about
Okay.
can this person have the capacity to make decisions regarding their will or
I
things
couldn't
like
work in
that.
that industry, to be honest.
Wow, that is-
We got someone in
Yeah.
production who does that for a living as well. And it's just like too hard. Like the stories
It's a very
you
tough
told me
gig.
about, yeah,
Very,
it's just
very
like,
tough
I
gig.
cannot do that. So
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
work directly with patients? Like, do you actually have people
Yeah.
come to you?
I had, so I was working at a private clinic, but I was also working in research at the same time. So it was half-half.
Oh, right. Okay.
And
Interesting.
in my clinical practice, I was working directly with a lot of different types of, within the private sector, so it'd be government referrals or
Okay.
Any in the community referrals and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a change from
Yeah, it
where you
is.
are today.
So how come did you just make
Make
the
the
jump?
leap.
Yeah.
I think partly due to my partner.
Okay.
So he has always been in business. So he had been doing his own kind of D2C
Yeah.
back in university. And then so I met him when I think uni had just finished. But he was also like, I still want to do business. I'm like, yeah, you go do it. And I'll just do my neuropsych.
Yeah.
And then slowly he pulled me
It's
in.
like, yeah.
So it started off as I had studied in Sydney. I came back to Melbourne. And during that time was when EVA sort of, the idea was formed.
Yeah.
I hadn't got a job at that point, and I was like, okay, I'm going to jump and help out with EVA and start
Yeah.
sort of the beginnings with my partner. And then by the time I got my registration in psychology, I got a job.
Right.
And so I was working part-time neuropsych, after hours EVA, and then over the next...
Oh, the hustle.
Wow.
Yeah. Then
okay,
after about
yeah.
a year or 2 years in, I decided let's drop down my hours in neuropsych and do part-time. And then
Okay.
I think about 3 years ago, I went full-time in EVA.
Right. We were talking to another couple, Simon and Jenna, and they started the Hungry Workshop. And it's a letterpress printing
Yeah.
company. And they had the idea of doing that while they were on their honeymoon.
They were in the honeymoon.
Or at
Yes.
least their name came up when they were on their honeymoon.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great.
And is there like some love story around the EVA with you guys?
I wish. I'm going to get the marketing team to come back to you on that one, I think.
No, that's
Nothing
right.
super exciting. I guess a lot of people ask us about the name EVA and where that came about. Whether or not it's
For a
like-
good reason. I think it's an interesting
Yeah.
name, right?
It's an interesting name.
Oh,
Thanks.
nice.
Thank you so
Gracias.
much. Oh, this is the
Thank
you.
Ray.
¿Cómo se
That
llama?
that is the I forgot the name already. Can you
¿Cómo se llama
believe
este?
this? Refajo.
Refajo.
You gotta roll your
Okay.
R's, right? Okay.
Yeah. So
I have
Refajo.
tried my entire life.
Refajo.
I can't
All
do that.
right. We're
Yours is built different.
this is
Oh my gosh.
a very traditional Colombian
I'm so excited.
drink.
Yes.
And
After this, we're doing aguardiente shots.
it's
so-
by the way, this is our first time trying this. Like
Ooh.
I
Is it
also
for
haven't.
you?
Yeah, I haven't
Oh,
tried.
right.
I haven't
Oh, wow.
tried this. So
Okay.
Salud.
We're not
so
holding
salud
back
and
emotions.
no, exactly, not anymore.
Jesus.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's
I did
interesting.
not expect this.
It's like a sweet beer.
It's very
Like people,
sweet.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
people like Alex was just saying before, is exactly what it is: beer and cola.
Yeah.
And it's like okay, but then
It doesn't sound very
No.
interesting, but when you try it, it kind of makes sense. It's a good balance.
good.
Yeah, I
It's
like
really
it.
good. We've got a girl who's from Colombia in the office, so I'm going to tell her I'm going to try this.
yeah, it's one of those things that you introduce to Australians, and they'll be like, what?
Yeah.
There are things like I do
Yeah.
with Mexican drinks or Mexican food,
Mm.
like with salt and chili on fruit, and things like that. And there's like, I don't know if you saw that in your travels, but like introducing your culture into new cultures. Sometimes people look at you like, but hey, you try. So
It's
Yeah.
good.
We
It's
try.
good.
I feel like it's either
Love it.
you like it or you don't. But in this instance,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a proof.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
definitely just drink that all day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easily,
You wouldn't
easily.
notice, you just
No, we
get drunk,
don't
right?
do that today. But
Bit of a
You
problem.
You're driving, right?
I'm going to get an Uber back, I think.
Yeah.
We'll stick with that.
So we were talking about the name. Is that what we were?
Yeah, because it's quite interesting, right? That you've, you've given the business a human name, and there's a little bit about that actually. That we'll talk a little bit more in a minute. But yeah, like I guess that's maybe the reason why a lot of people are interested. Like, why EVA? Is there a story behind it, or?
Wow. No huge marketing story. I think what we were looking for was really just a really simple name to remember.
Yeah.
That could just, if you say the name, you know how to spell it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thinking about how do we make it as simple as possible, because coincidentally in the world of furniture at the time, it's very complicated. Like you're waiting 16 weeks for delivery for a sofa, or when the sofa arrives or a table
Yeah.
arrives, and you're like, okay, how do I put it
Stuff like
together? I think one of my friends the other I think last year, she had ordered a sofa, and apparently it came all assembled, was all fine, but it couldn't fit through her front door. And so what they had to do
right.
was they had to get the delivery guys to come around the back, chuck it around the fence, and go through their back door. And it was
Back
just
door,
like little things like that you just don't think about.
Yeah.
Can make it a lot more of a complicated process. So keep it simple, keep it EVA.
Yeah.
I think
keep it
that's
simple, keep it even.
yeah, and actually,
Sponsored by.
Yeah.
that is the one thing that I absolutely loved about your brand, and I think it's an ethos almost that you can see throughout the website. You can see that in the product, and now finding out about the name as well. Like you're all about simplicity, but functionality at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's really really nice to hear, because it's a testament to our team as well.
Yeah.
I think having a really good team around you who understands where we've come from and where we're going, I think they really rally around that, and that's sort of how we have gotten to where we are today. Like it's not just Ken and myself; it's really the expertise and leaning on the expertise of people who have done this before, and like, hey, what do you think? Because at the end of the day, Ken and I, we're the founders, but we're not the experts in this area, but we provide the context for the experts to then get their best work done.
Yeah, and you seem like you have an amazing team, because when I asked you for the photo that would describe what you guys do or who you are,
Yeah.
she sent me a photo of the team.
Of the team.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's just beautiful, and I would have probably placed a photo of furniture or like a mattress, but instead you gave a team. You gave us a team for that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Why don't you have a showroom? We both asked you that. We just went ahead and assumed that there was going to be a
We
show.
did assume that, yeah.
Yeah, but why not?
I think a number of reasons. I don't think it's never going to have a showroom forever. But the main reason why is because when we first launched with the mattress, we didn't have a showroom either. We had instead a 129 risk-free guarantee. So which meant that for you, we felt that to really see if this mattress is for you, you really need to try it, actually live with it, sleep with it. Because 5 minutes in a showroom doesn't mean you're going to sleep on it really well.
Right, which is a traditional way to buy a mattress.
Which doesn't really make any sense because who knows, everybody's body is different. Everybody's sleeping habits are different. And of course, if you're sleeping with a partner, they might not like the mattress, but you might like the mattress. And what do you do then? You have this big, you just break it in half.
I think you can do things like, sorry, this sounds silly, but I think you can do, if you order a mattress from like a company or something, can you do like half and half, like half soft, half?
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
and actually,
right.
I think by the time this airs, our newest product will be launched, which is our EVA Mattress Plus.
Right.
And that one is customizable, so it's got the half, and you can switch the layers, so that way it's really customer centric.
Right. Wow. Is this a meeting that you have to go to?
Yes, I've got to make that one.
You want to make that one, yeah. Otherwise, it's
always
on record that it's our fault that it never came out.
It's all recorded here today.
I love it. I think one of the other things I hear about you is that you are very customer centric. You're, about building a product that people love, but it's also kind of built around their needs. You, in a previous interview, spoke about user testing, actually.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I think that is, personally, as a UX designer, that is my biggest passion.
Yeah. That's it.
So when I heard that,
can we please move on? And he's like, no, we have to do this properly.
I heard that in the context of your industry, and that was such an interesting proposition because you're changing the narrative completely. In an industry, not only mattresses but furniture, that has been doing something in the same way for many years and not really thinking about the end customer.
Yeah, I guess how that came about was kind of testament to our business model. So we are a company that designs our products from scratch, which means that we are not going to put out 100 products in 1 year. It doesn't make sense because it's like, well, are these 100 products really what the customer wants, or do they just want one really good product? And so for us to design a really good product, we really need to know what does that customer want. So that starts all the way from the brief, where we have our product team who does immense research into the market. They do their surveys of the customers. We do these roundtable interviews where, like for example, I'd be talking to a customer and asking them preferences on, for example, a dining table. What do you like out of a dining table? Why do you like this? What kind of colors?
Face-to-face.
Wow.
Yeah, so we did it over COVID, so it was over Zoom.
Of course, yes.
That was myself and a few of the marketing people, a few of the product team, just sitting down and talking to customers and just getting that information. Then that creates the brief for the design team to take on. They're like, okay, product and design team, how do we achieve this brief? And they work together to design a really great product that hopefully meets the brief, but also meets what EVA stands for: simplicity, being honest, useful, and charming, making sure it fits within our ethos. And then from there, we create a prototype. From that prototype, we use that to then test with users. So pretty much
actual materials, like final
materials?
the
real prototype.
Wow.
That's really cool. From that prototype, we actually then invite everybody in the office to come in and try the assembly, feel the fabric. How does it fit? Is it tall enough? Is it too short? And really get insights and feedback. All that data then gets funneled back into the design product team, and they make another prototype based on what the users actually say. Wow. And so we do that at least 2 or 3 times, depending on how many versions we want to create.
So you're actually iterating on the prototype.
We have iterated a few times, at least for the Everyday Sofa, which was launched, I think, March this year. And then once we have the golden prototype, the final one, like this is it, we do photo shoot.
Right. Any products that didn't make it?
There has been
like a rocking chair or
something. Fortunately, the product team is very good at identifying what the addressable market is,
Okay.
and they know that maybe
Mm.
that's not a big enough market for us to
What
go
happens
to.
what happens when you get, I don't know if this ever happened to you or not, but 364 days down the track, I send my mattress back and it's like all stained. Or it's like, oh, my dog was sleeping on the bed and then the mattress completely trashed. Yeah, I haven't read your T's and C's, obviously. Probably you explained that there, but
Unfortunately, we won't be able to accept it back.
Yep.
So some of the areas where because we're thinking about a business model where circular economy is the end goal, right? And so in the instance that the products come back damaged, we cannot then pass that on to the next home that we pass it on to, whether it's a charity, whether we sell it on. So at that point, it's very clear. Make sure it's in good condition because the next person who gets it won't
Do
appreciate
you
it as much
remember
as
a
you do.
weird example? Like, I can't believe they actually want to return this piece of furniture.
Yeah, we've had some customers definitely hit us up a day before their trial ends and
So,
say, hey,
yeah, like 11:59.
please pick up.
Yeah.
No, in the instances that it's completely fine, we definitely take it back. It's part of our trial. But of course, they know from the start and also at the end where we actually send them a survey to understand why they're
course.
returning it. Is there anything we can do to improve?
Is there
At that
like a
point, they
memorable instance that you can, I don't know, this thing was split in half and they still try to return it? Or,
Ooh,
can you remember?
I can't remember anything like that. We're pretty good with making sure that they're fully aware. Don't stain them.
Of course. Yeah.
Please don't stain the
Put a
product.
mattress protector on.
Yeah, exactly.
Because just for context as well, like if someone's listening and then they don't know, you offer a 365-day policy,
Yes.
which is like kind of crazy to say. Like literally someone can keep a mattress for a year,
Yep.
use it, live with it,
Yep.
really
Jump on
get
it.
accustomed,
That's
with it and realize, what, this isn't for me.
That's it. I think the reason why it was originally a 129 trial and then it's switched over to 365 a day.
Yeah.
The reason why is kind of signifying our shift from being just a sleep mattress company to now being a home company. It's like it's more than just sleep. Now it's lifestyle. And so 365 days as opposed to nights reflects that itself. But also, I think because of our very intense product design, testing process, and all of that, I think we're fairly confident that the products we put out are going to stand at least a year.
Yeah.
Like if it doesn't stand a year, then I don't think it's a good product.
It's not worth
That's a
getting.
very good point. So you kind of reverse engineer that logic and you're like, let's get it right from the start, from all this research that we do.
Yeah, that's right.
So that 365 is kind of like, like you're confident that the product's gonna
be there.
it's gonna make it.
Yeah, that's it. I think it takes usually around 12 to 18 months for us to design from scratch and then finally release it
I
to
was
the
going to
public.
ask you that now.
Quite
I
a
was like,
process.
Yeah. So it's a fairly long process for just the one product, which is why we don't launch 20
Everything.
products in one go. It's
Of
really
course.
you specialize. And I mean, on your website, you mentioned simplicity and almost like disconnecting from all the distractions, right? Through your product. Has there been any feedback around the smart items like connect with the home and like I want a smart. I think in the website it says like the toaster can predict the weather or something.
Oh
like
yeah.
that. Has that something ever crossed your desk? Like maybe someone mentioned.
we have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
I think the problem is focusing on the right ones and one at a time. We definitely had quite a few ideas. I think last year, more than the products we put out, and something like no, guys, one at a time.
What product spiked during COVID? Do you think?
It was
I have my assumptions.
what do you think it was?
I'm gonna say the couch.
Yes, but I think more so the mattress than the bed frame. Sleep was really, really big. I think comfort in general was big.
Yeah, right.
I think there were a lot of people working from home in their bed as well, and just making sure it's a comfy bed.
Oh,
I'm not surprised. I know a few people who did that.
So might as well
I know a
upgrade.
few people who did that.
You, yes. Yep.
It actually happens a lot. So personally, well, I guess it's also interesting because the whole concept about you're talking about how do you fit in a mattress in your home, right? And I don't know. I was just thinking that is that something that you consider during the process? Like, is this mattress how is it portable enough for people to transport it? Is that part of that
It's
process?
it's kind of part of the fits seamlessly in people's homes.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about sort of the packaging or how it's designed in a way that makes it easier for people to.
Because your mattress rolls up,
Yeah.
right?
It's mattress in the box. So
Yeah, okay.
Once you expand it, you won't put it back in the box. You need a really big compression machine to roll it
Yeah,
back up
right.
again.
Yeah.
So unless you have one of those, but
Yeah.
otherwise, probably becomes like a normal mattress as you would
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, right.
But our other products, so taking on the ethos of really easy assembly,
Yeah.
all of our products is no tool assembly. And
Yep.
so the only tools you
Right.
need are your hands,
Wow.
which makes it really easy to disassemble, especially if you want
Yeah.
to move.
Yeah.
And again, kind of solving that problem about, will this sofa fit through my front door?
Yeah.
All pieces are flat pack. So which means you can take it apart, put it in, and then put it back up again
Yeah.
with no tools.
Yeah. It's I actually bought a sofa last year, and to make that story short, it looked amazing online. I sat on it and I was so disappointed.
Oh no.
And
Was it from EVA? Or?
I think we had sofas back there.
Where's this going?
That's where the story's going. No, not at all. But the theme there is, there were several things that you talked about. Well, the website talks about as traits of this sofa. One is that you can assemble it without any tools.
Yeah.
The other one was that it's functional, so it's modular, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it can kind of adapt to your space, and it actually looks very, very comfortable, I must say.
Yeah.
So it does feel like you're kind of thinking about all the different aspects of what someone looks for in a particular item.
What about the research there?
Yeah, that's where those roundtable interviews really come in handy, because we might have preconceived ideas of what a sofa should feel like. But at the end of the day, the biggest judge of your product is the customer.
As a customer.
Yeah.
So if they don't like it, then we've got the 365 days. We want to reduce that as much as possible.
Of course.
And so it's really planning much, much further ahead.
Was that always the case? Like when you guys first started your first product, was that the same process?
No, it kind of grew. I think in the second or third year we decided, thinking about how do we make this a lot more of a streamlined process.
Okay.
I think we were quite lucky in the first couple of years. We hadn't done that, but they just achieved product market fit really easily. We're like, oh, this is really easy. Like, is this what
Is
it's
this how
like?
business is? You just open it up and it
And
works.
oh God, people are
Customers
buying
just flood
these.
in.
No, but I think what we realized, because we started branching out and diversifying away from just the bedroom and other products like the tables and hemp linen and things like that. And each is a market on its own, which means that to really understand a new market, we really need to do a lot more research and then be able to aid our forecasting and how much stock do we need to stock into our warehouses, because we also have next day delivery, which means
it has to be
there. It has to be ready for people
Yeah.
to purchase and get it delivered on the day they need it.
Do you remember your first sale, like on the website, when it came through?
Yeah.
That's always
Yeah.
exciting,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Did you have like a bell that would ring every time? Actually, I've seen this before. Like,
Yeah.
Every time someone signs up to the premium account, it goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have something like that?
No, at that time it was just Ken and myself. So it was just the app. Shopify has a little cha-ching sound, and it was that came through. We were freaked out. But I remember our very first everyday sofa
What do we do
sale.
now? We don't have a
Oh my
mattress.
God, we're done. Our business is over. We made it. No, but our everyday sofa sale, the first one was, I think, literally the next day we put it out onto the page. And at that time,
on their website, so there's no advertisement or anything, just the site.
Yeah, and we were really like, wow, this is real.
Yeah.
And I remember the moment because it was myself, Ken, and our head of operations. We were in Sydney.
Okay.
And we had just come back from a very long day in the warehouse. We were inspecting all the everyday sofa stock just to make sure they were okay.
Yeah.
Such a hot day, and it was raining at the same time. It was just like so much sweat and like drenched, and it was gross. And then suddenly we were waiting for a taxi, and then suddenly my phone rang, and I was like, oh my gosh, we just made a sale. This is our first sale. We'd just come from the warehouse with all our products there.
Yeah.
To see that come through, it was such a great moment.
That's so fulfilling, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
And out of all the product ideas your team comes up with, are there any crazy ones?
Crazy ones.
Or any ideas that it's like, it's probably not going to make it, but you get extra points for that.
Well, fortunately, the design team and the product team, they are all over the market. So they'll know if anything comes through that's crazy, it's probably from the marketing team and myself.
We're gonna have EVA on the bed, on the mattress, sitting until we,
always trying to
we
push
sell
the
100 of
envelope.
this. You're not moving out of it.
So again, we provide the context, Ken and I, but the experts will leave it to them to decide.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Is that's also interesting? Like the team again, it's kind of like the core of big part of the business, right? And you talked about kind of trusting that they do their best. Like, what is your process like to find the right people? Like because if you say you don't have that expertise, like what do you look for in people when you're hiring?
Yeah, I think we have a hiring process that we've kind of nailed down a little bit now.
Yeah.
It kind of involves how many stages? 4 stages.
Okay.
So the first stage is the job ad, making sure that it sounds like it's a real person who's written this job ad as opposed to a copy and paste. Because people often skim through ads and like, this doesn't really stand out. But you got to make it sound like a real person.
Yeah.
From there, doing the phone interviews, and often I do the phone interviews, at least as part of the phone screenings.
Okay.
Because
I know it's you, like you, the founder.
I try not to scare them, so I say Amanda, and don't tell them which part of the business I'm from.
Okay.
But for me, I feel that's really important because it really allows me to see, is this person going to be a good fit for the company? Because I know how the company is, I know what the culture is like, and I just know it from the phone, is this person going to fit in?
Yeah, no, I get it because yesterday, Sandra, the founder, she got up and then she was scooping gelato for us. And it's just like, she still gets on the tool. And then we were joking about that. Like, it's on camera, Sandra. She's like, I know, so nobody can say otherwise.
But this sounds like you're like actually, from that first interaction over the phone, like you kind of getting a sense of what the person is, how they communicate and all that, right?
That's it. And then, from there we go to the interview kind of process where we give them a challenge to do. So that assesses the technical skills.
Right.
If they pass that, then we have a post-challenge debrief, which is myself or another person who's really inherent in culture.
Okay.
And then someone who's in that same department and somebody else from another department. And therefore, it's a very balanced view of this person.
Okay.
And then the last interview is between founders and that person.
Wow.
And we kind of suss out if that person's really, if they know what they're getting themselves into.
Okay.
And try and find that alignment between their career goals and how EVA can help them along the way.
Wow. So it's a very thorough process until someone actually makes it in the team. That is worth it, I suppose. Like at the end of the day, and actually I saw that photo you sent earlier, and you guys look like a family. So
Is that next to that big billboard? What is it, by the way?
That is in North Melbourne, Flemington Road, I think.
It is close from where I live. I have seen the ads, actually.
Are you the one vandalizing it? Because there's a bit of a
now there is.
There.
I drove past it when it wasn't vandalized, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh, we're talking to Amanda. That's fantastic.
Yep. I think it's still up there, but heavily vandalized now.
I guess you gotta embrace that, right? Like
it's part of Melbourne, I guess.
Unless, and even then, unless it's like really up high, high up there, it's definitely gonna happen.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. Your shipping. So I remember going back in the day, probably I'm gonna say 7 years ago. I just had a crack at printing T-shirts and then shipping, and it was a nightmare. I was like, like I'm a designer, right? So I get there and I start designing, sketching, choosing the colors of the fabrics and the fit of the T-shirts, and so it's so good. But then as soon as an order comes in, and I'm talking like maybe one order every week, comes in, I was like stressing out.
Oh no.
Yeah. What's it like for you guys? Because you have to ship it like next day. So
yes.
And they're not shirts, are large items as well.
Yes.
Worldwide, like you spread out as well.
So we're just in Australia at the moment, but we're in all the major states, which means that for next day delivery, it's a warehouse in every state.
Okay. Yep.
In terms of how do we streamline one order to the next, so we actually we created an app, custom app solution where we're allowing customers to pick a delivery date that they want.
Mm.
So there's a little calendar, they pick what date that suits you. And then that's kind of integrated into our tech stack where it syncs up with our couriers, our 3PLs, to say, yep, we've got an order on this day at this time. And then that just happens from
It
there.
just magically happens.
Magic.
Wow.
You like sipping
back end.
margaritas in Sydney and then things are getting shipped out. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or mojitos in Cuba, you know?
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's a kind of the key to e-commerce as well. Like you want a system that is automated enough
Yes.
so you can worry about growing the business.
Because you have a pretty good
Focusing
knowledge
on-
in e-commerce, right?
I worked for a bit in e-commerce, so like the whole cart in itself was an experience. Like how do you optimize that so people don't drop out, and you know if they do, how do you get them back? So I'm sure you're all familiar with that process.
Yeah, well, because our products, like I said, they're quite high ticket items, which means that thinking about the consideration time, it could take between, I think in the mattress category is a little bit different because there's a lot of competitors in that space. So it could be up to a day or a week before that person makes a purchasing decision.
Okay.
But with something like sofas, that takes a little bit longer than a day.
So
Because there's a lot of consideration around like the aesthetic, the design, the style. Is this going to suit my space, the size? There's a lot involved, and
And people are doing the
sometimes-
research as well.
They
They're
are.
going around.
Yeah.
Then especially if you start looking into fabrics and leather and then
Yes.
colors and
Yeah. Does
you,
it fit
you only
my
fabric, right?
apartment?
You don't do leather products?
We don't do leather products, no, not yet.
Leather? Is that
Vegan leather.
vegan leather? Yeah. I think it's called leather. I don't know. I forgot what I was going to ask
And-
you
and-
about
In terms of that, like, do you track behavior as well? Like, you know, are people looking at a product,
Yeah.
leaving that tab open for a few days before they come back and actually make that purchase?
Yes, so we have in-house CRO.
Okay.
So we look at the heat maps, we watch the session recordings, and then try and do A/B tests on the page to see is this going
Nice.
to work better, is this going to work better?
Nice.
Um,
You're all
and-
over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to have.
I
a
think
team,
I was about to ask you
Yeah,
for a job,
nice.
so because he loves you.
Any vacancies?
vacancies.
I do love that whole. I think it's interesting how you can leverage data in a very positive way, right? And you know, you're obviously doing that from the start, from the very start of the product, before it's even conceived, right? Like you're trying to understand that human element behind it.
Yep.
All right, who's gonna have the last
Is
Oh, please do, yeah.
do
Oh, no, I
you
thought you were going to have it.
one? No, you have it. Yeah, you're the guest. I can have one.
Oh, thank you.
We'll get another. I mean, it looks like you eat first.
do you think that is part, like, does your background help? You know, like, is there some kind of connection there?
Yeah, I think it has given me at least a framework
Okay.
to use. Like no doubt I am not an expert in marketing or data, or I'm not a data scientist and analyst at all.
Yeah.
But I think what I've learned in Neuropsych was, you know, I actually in my research project, it was a lot of data crunching, a lot of understanding. What does this data mean? Is it good data or is it just bad data? How was the data collected? And so applying that to data we collect in the e-commerce world, it's thinking, is this good data or is this bad data? Or is this data worth going deeper into? Should we get more of this data?
Yeah.
I think having that framework to work with has been useful. And then a lot of Googling has helped understand it.
Okay.
University of YouTube.
Yeah, that's it.
My
That's it.
favorite uni.
Free, free.
Free is my best type of free, yeah.
It's interesting how you guys, I don't know why my head went there. This is just the way it works. But, you mentioned about photos before, like your products. But I think it's well known that some big furniture places, they use, stores and companies, they use renders. Well, they're moving towards, I think IKEA is moving towards,
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about hundreds of products a year, right? But the crafting, taking photos and the studio, does that happen, does that all happen here?
Yes. So
Everything,
our team does the photo shoots. So we had one recently in this beautiful home in Carnegie. And
Okay.
so our team, I think a team of 10 to 15 people in marketing crossover products, they work
They're
really
just a
closely
random
together.
house, or
Wow.
It was a random house.
just walk
Yeah,
in there,
well.
Like an
can we-
Airbnb or like
Yeah, right.
I think this one was it's like a friend of a friend who had a beautiful home.
Right.
Yeah.
And we just said, can we shoot in your
Yeah,
space?
yeah.
Love
Can we
it.
change all your furniture?
Yeah.
First of all, because it sucks. Second of all, because
Well,
we
what
need.
was really stressful was she actually got COVID a few days before the shoot. And then
Oh,
we're like, oh my
no.
gosh, we really need to shoot. We've already organized the photographer, the models, everything's coming.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
And
wow.
then she was so nice. She's like, that's okay. She's like, I will vacate the space
Yeah,
for you,
guys,
so
yeah.
you can come in. I'll come in after. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Thank
Wow.
Did you
you.
walk in there like all pseudo like Stranger Things? Don't touch
Well,
anything.
I've already had COVID, so I'm okay. But
All right. Okay.
we actually had to get a cleaner to come in and disinfect everything before
Yeah.
the bigger team came in
Yeah,
that
of
day.
course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those little stories nobody knows, right?
Yeah,
That
it's
happens
so
behind the scenes.
stressful.
That is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And like the photos, obviously, you're trying to capture that home feeling as well, right?
Yes.
Like that it feels like that could be me sitting on the couch.
That's it. I think the way that our photographer and I guess our photography guidelines are like is make it feel like it's lived in. You don't want to go to a showroom or not showroom, like a show apartment building. You're kind of like, oh, great, but does anybody actually live here?
Doesn't have the
Yeah.
essence of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like are there
Someone
cups
living
in
there.
the sink?
Kids
Because there's
running
always cups in the
around.
sink.
Yeah.
Is there like stains on the table? That's okay as well because it's living in. It's like how do
Yeah.
you actually live with the product and
Yeah.
capturing that is really really powerful.
Are you extending your range into? I just said kids running around the house, and then I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Are you guys thinking about that market? You know, like
It's
toddlers and kids
definitely been on our discussion
yeah.
channels.
Channels.
But I think again, it's focusing on okay, let's focus on making sure we've got all the core products in all core parts of the house,
Mhm.
and then from there thinking about what's the next market to tap into.
Yeah. Because then, I mean, this must be so much outdoor furniture. And then,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you have a kitchen, I'm sure in the kitchen you can put like a little island or something like that.
Yeah.
A smart lamp. You know, I keep going back to
I think I get what
Really?
you're saying.
Yeah.
I'll pass it on to the product
Can
team.
you please get it done?
All he needs is stat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I guess the other thing that I was also curious to find out is that you're a B corporation as well. So,
Yes.
you know, for an industry actually that wastes a lot to be certified, I think it's a massive achievement. Can you
Thank
tell us a
you.
little bit about
Yeah, that was a long process.
that? I've heard. So I've heard.
Yeah.
It was myself, our product manager, and also our product developer. We all worked quite closely on getting that across the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the categories that listen to from governance to workers, community, and customer. It assesses where you are in terms of all these categories and gives you a final output
Like a score? Or?
Right.
number. Final
Okay.
score, yeah.
Okay.
And so working closely with these guys, we submitted it back in, I think, March 2021.
Yeah.
2021. And then a year later, we were finally approved.
Wow.
Really?
So it
So
took,
now you're part of the club, right?
we were part of the club, yeah.
There's
Best club to be in.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, it's a
That's
good
it.
stamp to have. I think it represents something, you know, very important, and surely has to be a very, you know, kind of difficult process for them to approve you. So I think you know the fact that you're there,
it takes
Yeah.
a whole
great.
year to. Can you lose it?
You can lose it.
Oh, really?
Is it hard to lose it? Is it easy?
It's because they assess you, I think, once every 3 years, I
Excuse me?
believe.
Every
Once every 3 years.
Every 3 years,
I
yeah.
think they reassess you again. So you have to do
Right, okay.
the process, I think. But we've only just got, so I'm not
You're
familiar.
good for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're okay for now. But what's really great is I think it's not just a external customer facing like little tick of approval, but I
Of
think
course, yeah.
internally within our company, like it actually, I realized that a lot of team members are really, really excited by the fact that we were B Corp as well. So it's a really great tool with the internal culture because it means that we're all standing for something and we're all
Of
in it
course.
together. So that was really great to see this year.
It must.
Everyone's
Oh, sorry, man. Go.
no.
I was going to say that having that certification must attract certain type of talent and
Yeah.
customer base
Yeah.
as well. You know, people
Yeah.
that really care about what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I think like what I was gonna say is like it kind of adds to your ethos, and you know I suppose like ultimately you want people to kind of see your vision as well and kind of align.
Yep. Yep.
you know, like your team is aligned on, you know, what you guys are, what's your purpose, and
I wonder if there's like
how
a
you're
walk
trying
of
to
shame
change
if
the
you
world.
lose- If you lose a big corp, it's like in a Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Maybe a website exists somewhere.
Yeah.
Dark web.
Dark web. That would be interesting to see. No, that's good. You want to buy?
No,
we have food coming as well.
I'm okay. I'm gonna keep drinking.
Yeah.
And then I'll
Alright, cool.
let it
Eat some
settle.
food.
Yeah, I just don't want to be rude.
Oh no, please.
No, by no offering. You know? Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah. So it's I think we are almost on time. But is there anything else you want to share with us? Is there do you have another question before we wrap it up?
No,
we
there's
definitely don't want you to miss that meeting because it's on the
Of
record.
course.
It's going to be on us.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was our fault our product never launched.
Yeah, we were delayed by a year.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I guess we want to know
Anything else
from
you
you.
wanna share?
Yeah, anything that you want to share about the company, about you personally, you know.
Yeah, anything to share. I think maybe one of the biggest learnings throughout my unique journey is like, I think if you hustle and you have really good people around you who share that same ethos, you can really get stuff done. Having people who are aligned with you, it just makes you feel like 1 + 1 = 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All good. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you very much. And adios and see you in the next one.
Nice.